easiest job in real estate? We're the Hero Benefits Network. My name is Russ Fitzpatrick. I've been a broker owner for about 25 years and an agent for 40 years. And I've always worked with law enforcement appreciation programs and teacher appreciation programs. I've always worked with what we call affinity marketing for my consumer direct relationship. Affinity marketing simply means that we create special relationships with special people. This is not a certification, so we're not going to delve into the nuts and bolts of how we do what we do. That's reserved for Wednesdays at noon. This isn't going to be an orientation to show you all the marketing tools because we do that on Thursdays. But this is our once a week key to coaching program for mortgage bankers to get ahead of what I think will be one of the busiest calendar years we've seen in a long time. By empowering your real estate professionals with $5,000 down payment assistance or $10,000 relocation grants, you create a sticky wicket, a better mousetrap. And in fact, the $10,000 relocation grants are the ultimate listing magnet for your realtors. So your realtor partners on a local relationship to teachers, firefighters, police officers, hospital district employees would be bringing the $10,000 listing magnet to attract listings from the highway patrol, from the sheriff's department, from the nurses and doctors. And if they don't want to list a house, which is our terrific goal, that's the center point of the purpose of the organization, is to instill a listing-centric culture in our realtor community. We want them to take more listings because it doesn't matter what their interest rates do if the listings don't come along, right? Oh my God, we got back down to 4. I'm a realtor, man. I'm a realtor since 1986, team leader since 1991, broker owner since 1999, franchise owner since 2003, franchise regional director since 2003, franchise regional owner since 2003, title company owner, mortgage executive. Been involved in mortgage production, title production, and real estate production since 1986 at a very, very high level. Ran the largest, most productive team in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for RE/MAX back in the 80s. Grew the largest brokerage for Exit Realty Corp International in the 90s. Grew the largest 90,000 person network that I'd ever seen for Annie Mac Home Mortgage. We did about $2.6 to $3 billion a month in mortgages through our platform. So today we're going to talk about mortgage mathematics. We're going to spend a few minutes on measurable metrics so that we can coach you up on production volume. That's what you're interested to. At 10:20 approximately, we're going to move into a more exact call to action, something more exacting. You know, I misconstrued something a mortgage executive said to me a few months ago. He said it needs to be easier, and I was so freaking offended, man. I was pissed. We do the hardest job in the world, taking listings from strangers. That's the hardest job there is in real estate. And if you don't learn how to take listings from strangers as a real estate agent, you're going to be dead in 2025. So when we talk about exactly what to do with our realtor referral partners, you know, how do we create sustainable relationships? That's what we're trying to do. Like, how do we make it a win-win-win? Not just a win for us, but a win for the realtor and a win for the customer. And at the end, we're going to talk about exclusive zip codes. We can do countywide, statewide, and our most productive mortgage banker in the country, I think he's like number 2 or 3 among 6,000 MLOs. So you're talking Scotsman's Guide, but the tip of Scotsman's Guide, like the top 1/10 of 1% of mortgage bankers in the country owns Connecticut and closed 5 deals for, I think it was, 7 deals for $4 million, I think was the number. And he's only been with us a very, very short time. But he owns the state of Connecticut for us, so we're funneling him deals in that state. So whether you buy a zip code for $100, a county for $500, or a state for $3,000 a month, that's your call. But you know, you're able to then nominate your own title agency to help you with all this stuff. Devin's available, 1-800-299-WORKS. 1-800-299-WORKS. That's how to get a hold of Devin, our membership director. Jot that down, 1-800-299-WORKS. You can text me anytime you want. I'm open-minded and communicating again. I retired a few years ago, but now I'm eager to help you. I'm not taking any money out of this. Nor is Randy or Carrie. But we are here to support the Hero Benefits Network to grow this down payment assistance and relocation grant schedule. This isn't an orientation, but the most important thing you can remember is that it's not just the realtor giving back 25% like in Heroes, Homes for Heroes or Hero Benefits. This is the mortgage company, the title company, and the realtor gifting down payment assistance to the hero. Not just one party, but three parties. And that means that when we do relocation grants, we're talking about $8 or $10 grand, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 a month. So you just calculate the down payment assistance at 0.0075. I'm sorry, that's the selling property, 0.0075. And then the purchase property is 0.0115. You combine those two grants, and you've got a pretty special barb on the hook. You got a pretty special golden handcuff. You got a pretty special golden guardrails, right? Which is something that every mortgage executive has been asking me to create for the past 40 years. They all want some way to keep the transaction inside so it doesn't leave. One title company, one mortgage banker, and 50 realtors. It's not that complicated, is it? It's one title company, one mortgage banker, and 50 realtors. So we end up with a network of realtors in your community that are eager to do business with you. This is a tight-knit, intra-dependent group. I told you I'd talk about mortgage mathematics for a minute, and I hope you really study this. This is 40 years, man. The most valuable part of any relationship is the start. If a relationship starts properly, it will likely end better, right? So we use a formal wants and needs analysis. It's a particular schedule or agenda of questions that the consumer asks. About 50% of the consumers that we get voice-to-voice communication with will pull credit. 50% is a decent number for that metric. And about 60-70% of those will go to full mortgage application. And most of the people that make a full application will make documentation and processing so that we can achieve, in many cases, the TBD. In fact, our process did start to encourage consumers to go all the way to TBD, even though they haven't found a house yet. So we would end up with about 18% of the people that 18% of our leads would end up out shopping with a realtor, and they'd be carrying a TBD in their hands. But the line, the Mendoza line, they call it, is contract and escrow, meaning only a very, very small percentage of those individuals that passed credit pull and mortgage application and became a to be determined property approval that went out shopping. Only 4% of them went to contract, and only 2% of them funded. Whether it was an inspection, appraisal, escrow, or change their mind, man, oh man, this was the most horrific year for credit pull to closing. It was terrifying. It was a bad year because interest rates were up, so people were discouraged. So even though they found something, oh, look at this stat right here. This may put a bow on the whole thing right here. When we buy leads, consumer direct leads, even from LendingTree, which are like, I think they were $570 per lead. Realtor.com, like we were paying something like $60 a lead. Zillow, we were the highest price lead they sold were exclusive leads, and we were buying those up by the millions. But we can only get 74% of the people that paid to click that we paid for to get them even on the phone, voice-to-voice communication. And that was with an ISA dialing them right away. This numbers next to this is integral to your success as a mortgage banker. And I'm always available. If you disagree with me, text me up. Let's talk. I mean, talk this through with me. If 97% of the people that are referred to me go voice to voice contact with me, and that's only a 3% fall off when a realtor refers me a client, I get 97% of them on the phone, and 92% of them have meaningful dialogue, meaning most of the individuals that are referred to me by a realtor, we have meaningful dialogue with. 76% of the consumers that we are introduced to by our realtor partners go to full credit pull. 60% of the realtor referred business goes to full mortgage application. 45% do document processing and 35% do TBD. So that means 35% of our people that we talk to from a realtor referred actually go out shopping with that realtor that brought us to them. What a miracle of one-stop shopping sex appeal. Meaning, if we buy a lead, we're fucked. But if we're referred a lead by a realtor, we're scoring home runs every time. Like 25% of the credit pulls that we get from a realtor go to closing. But the metric is so off when we go consumer direct. Yet, sorry if I sound pissy about this, every banker that I talk to wants to eliminate the realtor. Why do these realtors? Why do I have to kiss a realtor's ass? Why are the realtors telling us what to do? Because they're the first substantive contact. If you become the first substantive contact, everything gets screwed up. You screw it up. But when your realtor's the first substantive contact, you don't screw it up. So we have a system called realtor referred purchase. So and I want you to plant this word collaboration into your 2025 vocabulary, right? So this one-stop shop, I always add the P and the E at the end. It's not a one-stop shop. It's a unique and special place to have a culture that works to the tune of 25%, right? So you have this essential employee relocation network that sends everything to the Hero Benefits Network, or vice versa. Sometimes Hero Benefits Network sends it to the Employee Relocation Network. But either way, whether those two invert or not, the next space is a HBN realtor, right? We send it to the realtor. Then we send it to the mortgage banker as a referral from the realtor. Then we send it to the title company as a referral from the mortgage banker. Then it gets to funding, and then all parties make a donation in green there at the bottom. You'll see what I mean by that. Now, the donation is a tax-deductible 501c3 charitable organization. That means you're making a donation that is not a RESPA-compliant CFPB managed opportunity. There's no law in America that says that a mortgage bank cannot donate a portion of their proceeds to a nonprofit. So quit saying that shit. I'm so sick of compliance excuses from mortgage bankers. They're lying. There's no such law that you can't make a charitable donation to a nonprofit organization from your proceeds. That's not a law. So it is compliant. And you make the donation at closing in the name of your hero. And then the Hero Benefits Network, which is the nonprofit, is the organization that grants the funds to the hero. This is a sexy, sexy mousetrap. So what you're pledging is 25 basis points. So whether you have to go to your branch manager, or you have to go to corporate, or you just simply change your comp in this one bucket from 150 to 125, or from 225 basis points down to 200 basis points. That's your pay now. And then you're crying because you're not on 225 basis points. That's your choice, man. You're with a bank that pays you 100 bips. That has nothing to do with me. If you're with a bank that pays you 200 bips, you'd be happy to give up 25 bips as an MLO. But if you're only making 100, 125, 150 bips, you have to go to your branch manager and say, look, I'm going to do this. I need to change my comp bucket on these deals. Instead of making 150, I'm going to make 125. Or What would be easier to do is tell your branch manager he needs to split it with you. You're going to go 12 and a half. I'm going to go 12 and a half. And we're going to give back 25 basis points. That's what you're pledging on a hero closing. So when your 25 basis points goes into the mix with the realtor's 25% and the title company's promulgated rate, $500, down payment assistance equals 0.0015. So you're combining your 25 bips with the 25% from the realtor and $500 from the title company to equal 0.0015 or up to $10,000 in relocation grants. So when you're thinking of a cop that just had a baby, he's got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and he needs a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Well, I'd like to offer him $10,000 as a cop. And I think that 2025, we're going to quit hearing this defund the police bullshit. And we're going to start hearing back the blue a lot more. Veterans deserve it. Firefighters deserve it. The EMT deserves it. The ambulance driver deserves it. The teachers deserve it. In fact, I think all first responders deserve it. And I was on a podcast with a teacher who's been a teacher for 30 years. She's retiring now, so she's going to sell her house in Plantation, Florida, and buy a house somewhere cheaper. So she's planning March because she thinks interest rates are going to drop by March. Many mortgage bankers think there's going to be a measurable uptick. So here's what we're proposing. You know, you already blew November, but if you came into us in December, we think that you could collaborate with realtors and title fulfillment partners in your market. So what we're proposing is that rather than working independently in your market, that we're going to pair you up with a real estate team, like a bunch of realtors, like 50 realtors. And then we're going to pair you up with a title company. And then we're going to pair you up with a down payment assistance program from a nonprofit that never runs out. Down payment never runs out. And then you're going to create a one-stop shopping experience with your realtors. So this is how your nonprofit down payment assistance division, it's a division, how the division inside of your organization works. So because I said I would tell you exactly what to do, I'm going to focus on the word metrics. And I'm going to say something that some people who don't manage metrics say all the time. Some guys I know that they don't ever worry about the metrics, but they say it a lot. If it can't be measured, it can't be managed. It sounds silly when people who aren't managing metrics say that. But for me, I'm going to tell you 40 years experience, you can't get transactions for less than 25 bips. If you're going to buy them from LendingTree, you're going to spend more than 25 bips. If you're going to buy them from Google, you're going to spend more than 25 bips. In this scenario, you can carve out, you and your branch manager can carve out 25 bips. And then you could eliminate that consumer direct budget. You don't have to do that anymore because you only have to pay after closing on these. This is a true statement. I'm going to show you how it's going to work. So rather than buying leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, or LendingTree, rather than investing $500 a month in an MSA for a broker who doesn't even want you there, rather than investing money in a desk rental or a larger MSA, we want to initiate your realtor referred purchase business through this 25 basis points pledge. By throwing your 25 bips into the mix with their 25% referral fee, you have camaraderie. You have an intradependence with each other. You have a barb on the hook. So when the cops come to your realtors for grants and down payment assistance, they can only go through you if they want the funds. So it's a very succinct program, and it does happenstance aside, the bankers corral the realtors. That's what Hero Benefits does differently than, say, Home Hunt or Hero Home Source or Hero Benefits Network, or Homes for Heroes. There's no corralling, right? But when you put the barb on the hook, the golden handcuffs, the golden guardrails, the intradependent camaraderie with you and your mortgage, with you and your realtors, the whole program has a higher purpose. right? You don't introduce you the same way. So let's take a look at exactly what to do one more time. Add 400 real estate agents in data only CSV file to your HBN promotional campaign. If, in fact, you don't have data on 400 realtors, I don't even know how you're living. You're a mortgage banker. But if you don't have it, we can help get it for you. We want you to make sure that 25 of those are broker owners or teamerages. And you know what a teamerage is, right? It's what Gary Keller calls a team with listings in 2025, a teamerage. So we want to find about 25 of the people that are in your CSV file are broker owners or teamerages. Then what we're going to suggest to you is you have lunch with about 15 of them. Invite 400, hope for 15. We'll host it with you. Don't worry. You don't have to do shit. Just show up and don't say anything stupid. Add 15 agents for lunch one more time. And then we're going to have 15 agents for lunch a third time. So remember, this is a proven system. It had 1.4 million a year. I'm sorry, terrible slip. 1.4 million a month. 1.4 million a month, 48 transactions a year. If you just have lunch with 15 agents on 3 different occasions. When we have lunch, we're going to host the lunch with you. And we're going to answer all the questions for you. And based on our math, you'd have about 30 of the attendees sign up. But we're gonna ingratiate ourselves to you by lowering your expectations. So if only a third, we're over a half. We're way over a half. 24% of the people who have taken our certification have done a transaction within the next 90 days. That's disgusting. That's like 1 in 4 do a transaction. That's insane. So graduating 15 agents, our number is 50%. We're only suggesting 15 total agents graduate before March. I picked St. Patrick's Day. Cute, right? So then you'd have 15 new referral partners with an exclusive relationship to you inside of your Hero Benefits network by March 17th. So even if you didn't buy a zip code, you'd still have those realtors. Now, you wouldn't be the exclusive to them if you didn't buy a zip code for $100 a month. But even if you were a cheap bastard or really, really stupid, you didn't buy a zip code, but you still got 15 referral partners just by hosting lunches. And we'll host lunches with you even if you don't have a zip code. But if you were smarter, you'd buy a zip code for $100 a month, and you'd own that community for those realtors that are in your network. And if you were really smart, you'd probably buy a county. So county's only $500 a month. You spend $6,000 a year. You do 48 deals a year. There ain't no problem with that math. So the total immersion affinity bolt-on with Hero Benefits Network looks like this: 400 real estate agents, including 25 broker owners or teamerages. That's 375 agents and 25 broker owners or teamerages. 45 realtors attend the certification during the next 90 days. That's 15 wimpy goals a month. The wimpiest goal I've ever heard: 15 attendees for 90 days. 1, 2, 3. That's 45. 15 of those commit, which our number is closer to 50%. But if only 15 of yours commit, that's a third. Over the next 90 days, they make a personal, emotional, and some of them make a financial commitment to you as the mortgage banker. That's what leads into 4 transactions per month moving forward from the spring of 2025. Now, if you've ever studied with Rick Ruby, if you've ever studied with Carl White, if you've ever studied with Jennifer Duplessis, if you've ever studied with Tim Brahim, if you've ever studied with Christine Beckwith, if you've ever studied with any mortgage productivity coach, this is the identical formula that every single one of them refers to. It's a realtor-centric marketing protocol. Instead of a consumer direct, which we showed you the math earlier, doesn't work very well, we move to a realtor direct. And that if a realtor direct at 15, you're talking about 3.2 transactions per year per agent. No, there is the magic in the mathematics. And I hope you got it. I'm not looking for a Evel Knievel, Lee Majors, incredible stuntman realtor that brings me one a deal a month. Those are fucking sharks that don't want anything to do with you. They don't need you. They probably own their own mortgage company. You aspire to make a relation with Mark Spain, but you don't know Mark Spain already makes $2 million a year off his mortgages. So how are you going to get into a relationship with Mark Spain or Lori Finkelstein Reeder or Rob D or any? They get 15 grand a month just in mortgage money before they even wake up. So you can't break into those without a widget that puts money in their pocket. In fact, I'm going to say this out loud to my mortgage bankers. Dual compensation is here already. It's not illegal to pay realtors anymore. So you're dealing with a conundrum called, is AI going to take over my job, or are realtors going to take over the MLO job? Or am I going to take it over? Am I going to be the hero of my own life, or is that stage going to be saved for someone else? Well, that's what this mathematic is about. If you don't have a hard on for this mathematics, you need to just walk away from the mortgage business. I mean, there's no other entity in the world, not Fairway, not Countrywide, not Cross Country, not their affinity program at Pure MG. It just doesn't combine the realtor. That's what it doesn't do. I haven't found one that does. If you show me one, I'll go after that one. But I'm telling you guys, this one integrates the realtor into a one-stop shopping mechanism that produces. And I've been doing this for 40 freaking years. I want to take you down a path of golden guardrails. When we've worked in lead gen in the past, you've seen it can just play this out with me. Let's say you did buy 1,000 leads from Zillow at $70,000. You went ahead and said, screw it, I'm buying 1,000 leads from Zillow at $70,000 out of pocket. What you're going to learn is that you can't even follow up on the 69,600 that aren't doing business that month. You have to have an entire system, employees, and a very aggressive CRM with a lot of texting and a lot of emailing and a lot of DMing and a lot of relationship building in order to even have them stay loyal. So you bought 1,000 leads, you ended up with 960 that won't even talk to you. Ridiculous math, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go here to, just want to go to herobenefitsnetwork.com and I'm going to show you this. Guys, you may hear a little frustration in my guts, and it has to do with a few mortgage banks that say that it's not compliant, which really pisses me off because they're just flat out lying. They hide behind compliance in order to not make a donation to a hero. But the only other thing is that you don't have to buy a zip code to participate. That we've made that clear. I mean, you can make a 25 basis points contribution and host a lunch and learn next month without even buying a zip code. But if you bought a single zip code, it would help pay for Devin. It would help pay for our technology. It'd help pay for our websites. It would help pay for our incredible networking that we're doing with national associations. It would give Randy Nemiroff the budget to go out and host trade shows like he loves to do to make these connections with people. So yes, we are asking for you to consider buying a zip code or a county. Counties are $500 a month. Zip codes are $99. And then we give discounts for 3 and 4 and 5 zip codes. Everything about our process and our frequently asked questions is available for you on herobenefitsnetwork.org. We also own herobenefitsnetwork.com. So I think you can pretty much find all the questions. And then down at the bottom, you'll see the opportunity to attend upcoming trainings that are available for you. We do weekly coaching with our mortgage bankers. And I'll tell you what, guys, you'd be best off attending the realtor coaching at least once. You could hear what we're talking about here, and you could see what we're doing. And I just want to quick relay to you that if you're going out to fire stations, if you're going out to teachers, if you're going out to any beautiful heroes, get this gorgeous Hero Among Us sweatshirt, get a hoodie, get a t-shirt, and soon there'll be some polo shirts on there. And I'm really proud. These are I think they're crafted more intentional to be worn and enjoyed, not just, in your work life, but they actually say something that could become. So if you're not certified, get certified now at herobenefitsnetwork.org. Our screen is taking you to the certification that happens every Wednesday at noon, but it's also available on demand. So I'm going to close my session out now by reiterating something that's vital to my sanity in the mortgage business, which is mathematics. If we're going to work on production together, we have to work on math together, right? So 400 real estate agents, making sure that 25 of them are broker owners, have lunch for 3 of them, 3 times, one a month for 3 months. That's only 15 people attend. So even if you live in Keokuk, Iowa, you could find 15 agents to come to lunch, right? Graduate at least a third of the attendees, which I think will be easy because we hit about 50% every week by St. Patrick's Day. And then with only 3 deals per year, that's a big deal, per year per realtor, 3 deals per year per realtor, you're adding 1.4 million a month in your exclusive zip code. If that's not compelling, I quit. I give up. Love you guys. Thanks for being on Hero Benefits Network, key to coaching, mortgage mathematics every Monday morning. Open for your calls, 1-800-299-WORKS. Open for your texts, 954-695-2314. Always looking forward to helping you. Thanks very much for being on.